giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Freeman Mazda Hyundai, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh yeah, baby. Cowboys have touched down in Cali. I'm going back to Cali. And today, they begin their quest for 6. They start practice, more like conditioning today. So we'll have some updates with that. We got some quotes, though. A couple of the leaders spoke yesterday when they touched down to some of the reporters. So we'll touch on that. In the roundup, we got some bizarre details on the contract and also an update on a free agent. And then the meat and potatoes of the show. I got 3 strengths for the Cowboys as they begin their quest for 6 today. I got 3 strengths. I think these 3 things are going to be integral in winning. Now, the other things matter, clearly. And honestly, maybe these things aren't the most important. I know one of them for damn sure is. But these are the things I think that are going to carry the Cowboys to their ultimate goal if they want it. So y'all stick around for that. I'll ask you guys for y'all's as well. With that said, shout out to the Bomb Squad in the building.
Bomb Squad!
I see y'all. I wish I had that credit score king element, but I do not. If y'all want to call into the show, let me go ahead and mute that right there. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. We'll talk about these strengths. We'll talk about what some of the leaders of the Cowboys had to talk about yesterday. One of them was very interesting because we heard the coaches bring this up. Now we're hearing the players bring it up. And I'm curious how the hell do you even practice this without some type of, I don't want to say dictatorship, but you gotta fear. You gotta have fear, in my opinion, if you're going to be better at this one aspect of the game. So we'll get into that. And like I said, update you guys on some free agency stuff. But what's up with y'all, man? What's up? I see we got a couple folks in the chat already getting into some Cowboys talk. My guy Sam Rose said, hey, listen now, Damone Clark's not on PUP just quite yet. Oh, just wait, Sam. You know, I don't think Damone Clark is going to be starting the season anytime soon, Cowboys Nation. We'll be shocked if that happens. Also, Professor Rose talking about the new helmets. Y'all know me. I'm not big on the Thanksgiving Day. It's all right. They cool, whatever. But those color rush dips, I like those. And if this new helmet is for the color rushes, man, I'm all for that. I might actually buy me one so I can put one back here or something like that because those helmets are pretty damn dope. King said, nah, man, you need a dictatorship at work. Keeps everyone on their toes. I'm just saying. Yes, Lennox. Shout out to my guy, Matt. I can smell the football in the air. Yes, indeed. We finally made it, man. It's been a long offseason. I don't got to tell you, as a to Z Sports Dallas writer, by the way, check out his work on A to Z Sports Dallas.com. It's, that was a funny period of time when you're working like we work, but we here now, man. So I'm ready for it. What's up, we them boys? Gregory, Sam Rowe, JV, Nigerian Prince. Color rushes are dope, man. Eric G, Toxic Tom, Aaron, TC915, Peter Rizzo, J.A., Professor O, King Element was goody. Iceberg Q, John, Not Bones, Jones, James Rogley, Derek Fisher, Tom Knudsen, Esther B, Armando Luna was good. Greedy Vegan, Antoine Okafor. I mean, y'all jumped up in here real fast, man. We're about $130 over here on YouTube already. And CJ Richards, I see you. Sully, Gene Jones, Facebook is even in the building pretty early. I see you, Bill Pugh, NME was goody, Jeremy Parker, D Hill, and then many more. Who? Mac Jones. I see you, man. See Mac. And everyone that's coming through, I appreciate you. I appreciate the Bomb Squad. I do. Y'all give me the juice to start going and flowing early as we get into this content, man. All right, man. Let's jump into the roundup. We're going to come out of it, and we're going to get into this Cowboys talk because camp's here, man. I'm excited.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Now, see, why you Nigerian Prince. He said, boy, I hope y'all talked about College Tyler. ASS. AS. Oh, let's do it. Hey, of course. I mean, it's not Cowboys related. I just kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about this weird contract stipulation. I've never heard anything like this. Granted, I'm not an agent, but reading articles about this, apparently agents and coaches and all these others never heard of a stipulation like this either. So, in Kyler Murray's gigantic contract that he just got, he has to spend at least 4 hours per week on independent study to prepare for the next game. Not, hey, do you mind? Not, that is what we expect of you. You need to do it or you will be docked. What? And if I'm not mistaken, I think even further in the contract, it says, hey, man, you can't be doing it while you're playing games and distracted. It has to be non-distractions. If you needed to put that in the contract, man, let's go. Would you have signed Kyler Murray? As I'm talking this out, maybe it's not an easy yes or no answer because the quarterback position, this is how hard it is to find you a franchise guy. Kyler he's a franchise quarterback. He's got the talent and things like that. But here's the problem. We talk about this a lot. Talent sets the floor. Character sets the ceiling. Which is why I always believe that Dak is going to continue to get better as long as he's upright. Because he has the character and the want-to and the drive to want to be great, to want to be better than he was before. Kyler just so damn talented from an athletic standpoint, an arm talent, can play baseball and football, probably never had to really compete to be that dude. Film study. All right, man, I go to all 22 Game Pass. All right, they blitzing on here. All right, I'm done. I'm going to play some Call of Duty. Man, I don't know, Cowboys Nation. If a report came out that Dak Prescott had to study for 4 hours, which is ridiculous. 4 hours. When the season begins, I'm watching 4 hours of film a week. Seriously. So I can make sure that you guys I'm not giving you guys, opinions that are coming off of highlights. That ain't nothing, dude. I'll leave it at that. If it came out that Dak had to do that, I would be nervous for the future. And I'm pretty sure Cardinal fans do not like to see that. So a bit of a tricky question, though, because quarterbacks don't come a dime a dozen. But would you sign Kyler Murray or Dak for that matter if you're a franchise quarterback, if you had to put a stipulation in there that he needs to study? C said, man, imagine if that was Dak. Yeah. Big H said, no, not an easy decision. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. Derek Fisher, nope. James, hell no. Jeremy, no. A lot of y'all are on the nose. Boy got mandatory study hall. Say creative genius. I think I would. This is hard. Y'all real quick with it, huh? I think I agree. I think I would say no because at the end of the day, remove all that talent that he has. At some point, it's going to require some extra work to get over that hump. There was the story that I retweeted on Twitter that, who was it? Ed Reed told about the Super Bowl year for the Ravens. As a leader, and I'll paraphrase, he said it's the small things that are going to get us to where we want to get to. It's the small things that make you better. And one of his examples was, hey, instead of just throwing all your dirty clothes and towels and things on the floor for the volunteer firefighters to come clean up, you're able put the damn clothes in the bin. Little things like that. And anyone on us to talk about more examples, but that shouldn't even be a thought, man. That shouldn't be a thought. You should be studying your opponents. Hey, man. All right, more Cowboy news than the Murray situation. I just thought that was wild, y'all. Anthony Barr, and yes, this is quasi Cowboys news. He's a free agent, but per reports, Anthony Barr's pursuit, or the Cowboys' pursuit to Anthony Barr, which is real, there is interest there, there's been talks, has been put on the back burner, most likely because of the financial circumstances. I think we all can agree on that, right? Had Anthony Barr agreed to come here for pennies on a dollar, he'd be signed. There is no denying that the Cowboys are looking at the linebacker position and saying, okay, we need a little bit help here. Hence signing USFL guy, hence signing career special team / practice squad guy, Malik Jefferson. So they know they need to add more bodies in that room, and they know they low-key need to add better bodies in the room, hence the interest in Barr. But the financials aren't there. So that's more of a...
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
That's more of an issue there, more than it is of understanding they need help there. So as of right now, Anthony Barr, Cowboys, is shelved. I say give it about 2 weeks. We'll see how they feel at training camp, and we'll go from there. That is this morning's roundup. We'll get into some more Cowboys talk here a little bit later. Let me get back to the chat. I cannot pronounce it. I'm going to call you E. Montgomery. What's good, E? He says, Sky, bet you ESPN, none of the other sports show talks about Murray's clause in his contract. I would hope so. I mean, aren't we kind of still in that weird slow period? I mean, I know camps are starting up, so maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's enough out there to where they'll bury it. But I guarantee you, if Dak Prescott had that clause, it'd be at the top of their list, man. Be at the top of their list. Danny Savage was good. He said the fact that Murray has a clause that he must watch film and read the playbook is scary. I never heard that. It is. And I think I'm leaning towards the nose here. It ain't as easy for me, though, because I understand the whole franchise quarterback thing, but I'm with y'all. I don't know that I would want a franchise quarterback that needs to be coerced into studying for the opponent, into essentially getting better, right? So I don't like it. Jim Coger, don't we have the second highest cap? We do, but doesn't really matter. Greedy, $11 million is expensive for Barr, in my opinion. I wouldn't be trying to pay $11 million for Barr. No, that's no. Why would you pay $11 million for Barr when you could have got Bobby Wagner for 10? You know what I mean? No sirree, Bob. Jay says he better lower that price tag. I think he's going to have to lower the price tag now that we're getting into camps, unless he's like, hey, I'm going to just wait till somebody get hurt and see if I'm more valuable then. Let's see here. They are going to bash Ant-Man. They aren't going to bash Ant-Man. That means he don't like football. Okay. All right, let's kind of move through here since we're about wrapping up the roundup conversation. And let's get into the Cowboys as they report here to training camp. And before I get into my three strengths, I do want to start off the show with, let me turn the music off and let me look at Danny in the eyes. Future first ballot, all-time great, could play in any era. Guard, Zach Martin. Okay. Zach Martin had this to say when he got off the bus and started talking to some of the reporters. I want to be a tough football team. I want to be a smart football team. Last year, we had some trouble with some discipline and some penalties and stuff. That's a number one for us, a disciplined, tough football team. We heard the coaches bring this up. We heard Jerry Jones bring this up. Now we're hearing Zach Martin bring this up in regards to discipline and penalties and things of that nature. Here's my thing about it. I don't necessarily. How do you coach that? You know what I mean? Like how do you coach a penalty? I don't think you can necessarily coach it. Because a lot of the penalties that the Cowboys had, some of them with the holdings or whatever, technical and things like that, the offsides, that's the discipline part, the extracurriculars and things like that. I don't know that you can coach it. I think the only thing you can really do is strike the fear of God in these guys. Can Mike McCarthy do that? Because he's not wrong in that it is a number one issue. I mean, it's not the number one issue in my opinion, but it's up there where it's something that they have to get better at, being more disciplined, because it cost them a lot last year, and it really cost them in the most important time. The two most important games to end the season, in my opinion, was Arizona and San Fran. Arizona's penalties hurt them massively in a game that was winnable. San Fran's penalties hurt them massively in a game that was winnable. But they talked about getting better from a penalty standpoint towards the end of the year. So this was something that you already knew about. And I think it was Jerry Jones that came out on the radio at some point, either during the season or after the season, I can't quite remember, and said, hey, man, the time to keep talking about this is done. I don't want to talk about this no more. Okay? He straight up told Mike McCarthy,
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
I don't. Get it done. Get it done or you're done. It's basically what he was telling him. So I thought it was interesting that Zach came out early, right away. Boom. Hey, man, we got to get these penalties down, Pat. Okay. Well, is Mike McCarthy going to put the fear of God in the guys that are not? We saw, I think it was a report, we heard Josh Ball was full started or whatever in OTAs, right? Josh Ball had a full start. And coach set him on the bench. They asked Mike McCarthy about that. And Mike McCarthy said, that? I do that all the time. That's nothing new. So we had thought, we might see a change here. A full start and offsides, and these guys are getting disciplined. He's like, I do this all the time. So I don't know if we're going to have tangible evidence of that changing through training camp, through preseason, until we get to the regular season, Cowboys Nation. So Danny must have had his cup of coffee because he's calling in early before I even get to the strengths. What's up, Danny?
No, good morning, Scott. Good morning, Scott. You caught me before my coffee, so I'm mellow.
Gotcha.
You can correct, when it comes to the holding on the offensive line, I do coach the line. It's as simple as teaching your players to pass block, run block, with boxing gloves on, where they can't hold. Also, though, when I don't know I don't know the breakdown of the holding penalties per player.
Yeah, because if I was about to say, Danny, I think the holding penalties on offense, the main guy's gone for that.
Yeah, and if you're dominating your man in front of you, there's no reason to hold. A lot of times you hold because you can't handle the guy in front of you. That's because, think about it, if you're just, knocking him around left and right, dominating him, why would you hold the guy? There's no reason to. So like I said, hopefully that can be corrected. You disappointed me with one thing yesterday, because I know you're a big wrestling fan. I mentioned a guy that should have been in the Hall of Fame. His name was Steve McMichael.
Bears Super Bowl champion, yeah.
But where also was he?
NWO, WCW.
No. He was part of the Four Horsemen. He was one of the best factions ever. Mongo was
But Mongo can't. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't like to really look at that as the four horsemen.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. They're not the original.
Nah, not even a second. Not even a Lex Luger version of the four. You know what I'm saying? He came way late. He came in.
Listen, the original four is on Ole, Tully, and Rick.
Yeah.
So that's the four. But they hated Ole, so they never were going to put him in the Hall of Fame. They put, I think, Barry Windham.
I tell you what about Mongo, if you don't mind us going. There's not many athletes as successful as he was in the NFL that transitioned to, professional wrestling entertainment and did it as good as he did. He was actually pretty damn good. Yeah.
Really. And what the sad part is? First of all, he wasn't a big dude. He was maybe 6 foot on a good day. And 100 sacks. And he has ALS, and he's on If you Google a picture of McMichael, it'll bring a tear to your eye. That's how bad
I didn't know that,
looks.
man. That's sad stuff.
He's like 60 pounds, seriously. So he's on his deathbed, and they're pushing for him to get into the Hall of Fame. And then there was that one call yesterday with Vach where the kid said he was on an airplane. When it comes to the Hall of Fame, I think the players. I just think the players should vote the other guys in. I don't think a man who never played a game should decide who gets that yellow jacket.
Danny, before we go down a rabbit hole that I honestly, this is no disrespect to you, I just truly don't care about the voting process at this moment. The voting process for the Hall of Fame is not clean. There is issues with it. I agree with you, Danny, but I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
And so what? So the camp starts today. It starts today in Oxnard, right? Right?
Yeah.
So listen, we gotta hope the old line stays healthy, and I don't know, man. If Kellen starts as old Kellen, I think some point McCarthy has to say, I'm gonna call plays, or we just know he's here. Then we know he's here for a paycheck, and it's a lame duck season, and Sean Payton's going to be the head coach next year.
Squad, I'll tell you something right now. I don't put your hopes in McCarthy calling plays. You know what I mean? We should be putting our hopes in Kellen continuing to get better as a coach, because didn't we see this play out already? Where Jason Garrett wanted to call plays.
No, like you said, it's Garrett.
Jerry said no.
Yeah. It's Garrett. But did McCarthy call plays in Green Bay, or was it Aaron Rodgers?
No. He called plays. He's always called plays. Everywhere. He's been San Fran, New Orleans, Green Bay, except Dallas.
All right. Yeah. Everybody listening later on, Sky and Botch, the 306 Mafia now or something like that. We're changing everything. We're changing names. But yeah, you caught me before my coffee today, so I'm nice. I
can tell, man. I can tell.
But great show. Like I said, like the one caller said before. Oh, I guarantee you, they're not talking about Kyle Murray with that clause on ESPN. That's why I don't watch you. That's why I don't watch ESPN. That's why I don't watch the NFL Network. Yeah. But the second I read that last night, I don't want a guy like that on my team.
Nah, man.
You got to put a clause that he has to be the playbook. I mean, I know the kid has a baseball career, so maybe he thinks he's too good for football, wants to play. I mean, think about it. The kid throws an interception, and then he looks like he wants to cry. But to put that in contract, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah. If I was a Cardinal fan, I wouldn't like that, Danny. I wouldn't like that, man.
No, me neither. But good for them. Great call. Good show as always.
There it goes. Appreciate you, Danny.
You got it.
I was waiting for the great call from Danny. Nobody gives themselves a better pat on the back than our guy, Danny Macho Man Savage. All right, we got another coach. This time it's Coach Marv, not Marv OG club owner Marv. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? This guy, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Listen, how excited are you for camp this week, man? All the talking's done.
Oh, man, I was just telling some friends of mine, I'm like, hey, all the free agents, all the draft picks, all the coaches, new coaches, and new personnel. All that's over now. It's time to prove, show and prove.
Yep.
You know, every job really starts now. Why we hired you, why we brought you to be an assistant or a staff guy, or brought you in to help with the team, help with the organization, draft you or undrafted free agents. when you hit training camp, your job actually starts, and we're gonna see, is this going to be for the betterment of this organization? You're hiring or you're bringing in, this is the betterment for the organization. And football, this is the best time for football. You know, when you're playing, a long time ago back when I played in the dark ages, you kind of dreaded these days because you had 2 a days, sometimes 3 a day practices, and it was a grind. But in the coaching aspect, man, you love it if you got competition and you building a team. This is when you put your sweat equity in. And like I always say, those who sweat more in peace bleed less in war.
I love to listen to Nate Newton talk about how, the training camps back then, the OTAs back then, the difference in them. Zach Martin brought it up.
Yeah, the first 2 days, they was hit.
Yeah.
They hit the first 2 days.
They're not doing nothing this week. They're not putting the pads on until next week. So
yeah, so that's what this is the thing that we put in. But I just wanted to, I hadn't talked to you in a while, guy, but I wanted to say, man, on the show that y'all had y'all group show, man. I appreciate the group effort, man, and I wanted to give you your flowers for some great comments that I think the Cowboy Nation need to really listen to. When you talked about conflict brings out the best, man, you were preaching, brother, because we need that conflict. And pointing out that the history of these coaches, even Tom Landry gave conflict to Tex Ramsey. They were good friends, but they butt heads, but great minds butt heads, but they know how to work together because they keep each other honest and they keep each other motivated. And we hadn't had that confrontational coach since Bill Parcells. Parcells been here, and I can see that Jerry is trying to build this team, maybe talent-wise like they did back in the 90s, but I hope he's not missing the most important piece, and that's the head coach. But we're going to see. McCarthy's got his chance. If I was him, I would love this chance because it's not like he's going in there with a bad football team. He's got a chance to make this football team better, and he's got a fighting chance to be very good and prove all that they say is wrong.
Let me ask you this, and I'll ask the nation this. In a way, and this is a little bit cynical, and I don't mean it to be cynical. It's just this feels like a weird lame duck year if he doesn't get it done. If it is indeed a lame duck year, isn't he kind of coaching for his future as well? Because if he shows some type of improvement as a coach this year and they don't ultimately get it done, or maybe Jerry's not satisfied with the win or two in the playoffs, he could be looking at another head coaching gig. But let's say it's worse, right? Let's say it's the same. That might be it for Mike McCarthy from a head coaching standpoint. He could go down a Jason Garrett type of situation. Is that a bit too cynical, or could he be looking at pressure not just in Dallas but for his future as a head coach?
Yeah, well, Sky, it ain't been real good for head coaches to leave Dallas of getting jobs. So you better think about it. I
didn't even think about that.
The only two I know of is Bill. Bill was done coaching when he was done. He was worn out. Jimmy went on to Miami and did very good. May not win the championship, but made the playoffs every year. Maybe Shane Daly got one job, but everything else. Damn, I don't even know if everything else ain't coaching anymore.
You're going to make me go down a rabbit hole of thinking about that, because that just adds on to the issue. You ain't even. All right, never mind. Go ahead. I'm gonna have to talk. I'm gonna talk to myself after the show.
Sometimes coaching at certain places is a graveyard if you don't make it. But let me tell you something. And you may be so right about his He's coaching for the future. But I just want the Cowboy fans to understand this. The real NFL knows maybe what type of talent the Cowboys got. Now they try to glass it over this media and they say this and say that, whatever. If he bombs in this situation, they're gonna look at that he shouldn't bomb. He may not come up. He should have a very good football team. They may come up a little short, but they shouldn't bomb, not with this talent.
No. Barring health, there's no way they should bomb. I mean, we say this all the time, right? If number 4 is upright, if Dak is upright, you're not going to bomb. I think you'll be fine as long as he's healthy. But it's a matter of how do you finish. That's been our issue. How you finish?
Well, you know something, Scott. I think is a crucial thing that we hadn't thought about. Cowboys for a while now, even with the Jason Garrett years, they have this outstanding year, then the down year. Good year, down year.
For the last decade.
This is very important that they can put 2 back-to-back years together with consistency, be one of the teams in a long time to win the NFC East, repeat there, and to have a nice playoff position in the playoffs. I think that would show that we have arrived with not just we learn how to deal with success and get better as a team instead of this up and down thing where we go 11-5 and then the next year we 9-7. You know, because this has been going on for a while. We had a good year in 2000. So this is important that we put this together, and I think that's important for this team to put back-to-back years together, because I will feel more comfortable going into playoffs if we have a solid football year, because I know this team has at least had a playoff game back-to-back years and not going every 2 years to the playoffs.
Yep,
so
it hasn't been done
very important thing.
Since 2006, 2007, and they haven't won a division back-to-back since the 90s. So, you know, baby steps, right? Like I'm not saying I'll be satisfied. I'm not satisfied unless we win a damn Super Bowl. But if we can at first, boom, back in the playoffs. That'd be the first time in over a decade that's happening back-to-back. Boom, win the division.
Right.
First time since the 90s. I would feel very confident going into the playoffs that they can get at least one win, right? Baby steps. Let's get one win. Then, boom, let's get to the NFC Championship. Let's take this thing one step at a time and see what happens at the end. But, you know, it's hard to skip everything because the Cowboys haven't showed that they can just say, screw it. We haven't been to back-to-back playoffs in 20 years, but we're going to win the Super Bowl, right? Like, give me confidence that we're that we're heading that direction.
I'll say this right quick, guy. You know, this organization has been known for skipping steps. We let Jason Garrett skip all the steps to become head coach. He didn't put enough work in as assistant coach. We skipping steps, a lot of steps with Kellen Moore, and we're going through the growing pains. But like you said and everybody else said, there's no way in the world I'm going to entrust in a young guy, and I know he skipped steps, and I'm a Super Bowl champion coach. I'm not going to crash and burn. You have to fire me because I'll have to break all your rules and take the reins over. You have to fire me and tell the public that, hey, I fired him because he took the reins over. You would have to do that.
You're going to fire me.
Then if I get fired, everybody will give me another job.
I've been saying that forever.
You would have to fire me.
Yeah, fire me. Just get. That's why I hope we see just something different from Mike. And I know. What's the saying? Coach Marv, tigers can't change their stripes or something like that. Cheetahs can't change their print. Whatever it is. Maybe he's too old to change or something like that. But I would love to see him kind of give I don't give a damn what you say. I'm going to do it my way.
Same way. But does he believe in some of the philosophies himself?
That's true.
That's the thing I have with McCarthy.
That's true.
You can't tell me he totally disagrees if he allows it to happen like this. He may think that some of the philosophy is right. But I think y'all coverage, man, has been great, man.
Thank you.
I may not get a chance to talk to you. I know you're going out later on in the week, man. I may not get a chance to talk to you. I want you to have. Yeah, but now I probably will be good. But safe travels if I don't talk to you again, man. and do the great reporting that you always been doing. This season is going to be successful, Cowboy fans. Let's celebrate our team. Let's don't let these people out here putting all these crazy in the winds because they pick a week and they try to tear down our stars.
Yeah.
Let's don't feed in. Let's be like the rest of the NFL. The rest of the NFL don't feed in and tearing down their stars with reports of people who putting out there who's not Cowboy fans. And just because they attach their name to Dallas News or Dallas this doesn't mean that they're a fan.
Ain't lying. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, man. Bye.
Ain't lying. He definitely made me think, though, to go back on coaches leaving the Cowboys. I had to write it down. Chan Gailey, nope. Campo, nope. Wade, nope. JG, nope. Bill, you could say no, but Bill was done. Bill went into a general manager-ish front office role with the Dolphins after that. But in regards to head coaches going on to being a head coach again or something like that, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Now, the assistants are a bit of a different story. Todd Bowles, Sean Paytons of the world, Tony Spiranos. These guys have gotten head coaching opportunities afterwards. But very, very, it made me think on the spot there. And Danny, you a made man. You do what you want. You know? I don't want no problem, man. Did you take care of that thing, though, Danny? Because I don't see them infiltrating the chat here. So I think you did. I appreciate you. All right, let's get to one of my strengths before I get back on the horn here. We'll just be talking on the phone all day, which I don't mind. Call in. I love talking to y'all. Y'all know that. But I do want to get to one part at least of this strength because I don't want to say it's not going unnoticed. We talk about this side of the ball all the damn time, and I'm talking about the defense. And not only am I just talking about the defense, I'm talking about the coaches too. We'll get to that in a second. But we often talk about the continuity of those who are returning on the defense, right? Whether it be year 2 in the system with the coaches, year 2 with some of these players. And it was J-Ron, a.k.a. J-Rock, who actually brought that up when he touched down in Cali. This is what he said, quote, "The sky is the limit for this defense. We have the right guys in place to go out and do great things. Going into year 2 in this system, everybody should be a notch better than they were when we got here last year. Everybody should be a notch better than they were when we got here last year." Micah talked about that in OTAs as well. We spoke with Kyle Yeomans. And I dropped that video of rehashing what he said. He talked about how the guys there's a different swagger. There's a different feel with this defense because they're going into year 2. And remember earlier when we did our breakdown of the safeties, I kind of equate this to the entire defense. I was like, I think the safety position, especially the starters at the very least, not necessarily the 4-player depth, but the starters, they're ahead. They're better because we know who the guys were. J-Ron and Malik weren't the guys to start the season. It was Donovan Wilson and DeMonte KZ. I love Dono. I think J-Ron was better last year. I think he has the potential to be better in general. They both had one massive year as starters, so that's fair to say 1-1. But J-Ron took on way more responsibility. I think he's a better player. Malik Hooker's better than KZ. It was always about health with Malik Hooker. So those two dudes are now starting the season off as the guys. That makes your defense better. You could say that about the rest of these guys, right? Micah, there's no question of what Micah can do. He's going to be better. Defensive line, year 2 with the Osas of the worlds and your healthy Neville Gallimore and things of that nature. But the continuity is extremely important. And it's extremely important from a coaching standpoint. That's my number one strength right now. Heading in, not number one, I shouldn't say number one because I'm going to be honest with you, the quarterback position is really number one. But maybe number one strength that we really aren't really thinking about, right, is the coaches on the defensive side of the ball. We could have lost, maybe not all these dudes, maybe Al would have stayed here. But 3 of these 4 guys, which I consider the top defenses, no disrespect to Coach AD, no disrespect to him. I just think Dan is more hands-on with that position, so it kind of is split a bit. But Dan Quinn, Joe Witt, and George Edwards all could have been gone. this offseason. And I don't think we would have been having the same confidence going into year 2 with this defense. Player-wise, yes, you'd have the talent, but you need that conductor, right? You need that guy that steers the ship, the captain, to make this defense what it is. All the great defenses have that. And I dubbed Joe Witt Jr. as maybe the second most keep of the offseason once they decided that he was coming back, or he decided, right? He got interviewed for like 7 defensive coordinators jobs, and, they elected to go elsewhere. But the fact that he was vetted, it was a possibility that he'd have been gone. Now, I remember when we hired Mike McCarthy, I went back to look at some trends on both offense and defense. I just wanted to see, who he might hire, what were things like in Green Bay from a trend standpoint. And I came across the opponent's interception thrown percentage, and I made a video about it. What I didn't necessarily see, what I missed when I looked at that was who was the secondaries coach. I know who the defensive coordinator was. It was Don Capers, which led me into, well, hey, maybe we're going to go a 3-4 defense, which they did decide to do. But when I saw that stat, I was like, whoa, Cowboys defense the turnover should improve. But it wasn't until Joe Witt Jr. came to the Cowboys and the interceptions went up massively. They finished number 1 in that statistic. I was like, wait a minute. Let me go back and look. And I was like, oh, this is a trend under Joe Witt Jr., who spent a lot of time in Green Bay at that time. And here's the number again. We brought this up before. Joe Witt Jr., under his tutelage as a secondaries coach, whether it be in Atlanta, Dallas, Green Bay, or Cleveland, he's finished no worse than 10th. His secondaries have finished no worse than 10th in interception percentage between 2010 and 2021. Now, 2020 was in Atlanta. That was a year they fired Mike McCarthy, COVID. I kind of should have put an asterisk there because I didn't count it. Atlanta's defense was all-time bad. They fired the defense coordinator mid-season, whatever. But fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Can't get fooled again, right? Look how many times this guy is finishing the top 10 as a secondaries coach. I thought it was so important, Cowboys Nation, to keep Joe Witt Jr. So important. Maybe not just as important as Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn, I think he's going to go down as long as he remains a defensive coordinator as one of the better defensive coordinators of his time. I mean, you can't argue what he did in Seattle, what he did last year for Dallas. But Joe Witt Jr. was so important to keep that continuity in the secondary. To boot, right? Al Harris. I don't know how much credit Al Harris gets among Cowboys fans. I don't. I don't talk about Al Harris all the time, but me and Boss were actually talking about this the other day. We went to training camp last year and we got a chance to see Al Harris working with the guys. I love how he coaches. The players love Al Harris, and the main cornerback loves Al Harris. Here's what Trayvon Diggs had to say about Al Harris. Al Harris basically taught me everything I know as far as playing cornerback in the NFL. The technique, just how to read the quarterback. He knows exactly what's going on out there. So taking information from him, picking his brain every day has helped me a lot. End quote. Comes into the league, 14 interceptions in 27 career games to start his career. Kind of similar in the sense of build, right? Al Harris, a big long corner. Trayvon Diggs, long corner. Maybe an underrated corner during his time in the league. He is in the Packers Hall of Fame, though. But really good corner when he played. And I remember there was another quote earlier in the season where there was like, hey, man, hearing it from Al helps because he played in this game. He played in the big moments, right? So Al Harris keep was also, I think, a big deal, especially at the very, very least for Trayvon Diggs. But you can kind of go further. Under Harris and under Joe Witt Jr., you saw career years in cornerback play and interceptions from Anthony Brown and from Jordan Lewis. So important pieces to keep there was Joe Witt and Al Harris for the secondary. And then obviously George Edwards and Dan Quinn. But George Edwards for the reason of Micah Parsons and Jaron Kearse. Now, Micah is Micah. Not saying he needed George Edwards. But leadership helps. And this is from Micah's mouth right here. He looks at George Edwards as a pops figure. And I think it's so important to have a guy so talented like Micah Parsons to be humble enough to take coaching, but not just take it from anybody. Who's the actual linebackers coach? Scott something? No offense to this guy. I ain't never heard Micah Parsons talk about, hey, man, Scott, me and Scott, and I ain't never heard it. I wouldn't be able to point Scott. Somebody help me out in the chat. If he walked past me, I'd be able to point out George Edwards. I can go to George Edwards' resume and say, look what he did over there in Minnesota. Look what he did with LeVar Arrington. Look what he's doing here with Jaron Kearse and Micah Parsons. And yes, I include Jaron Kearse, y'all. Here's why I include Jaron Kearse. When Dan Quinn decided to put the dot on him and utilize him more as in a versatile way, it was George Edwards who helped him convert a bit down in at the linebacker position. So to bring back your senior assistant in George Edwards, he's not necessarily a linebackers coach, but he's been a linebackers guy his entire career, was, again, important. And then obviously, Dan Quinn. I don't really need to say a whole bunch of words for keeping Dan Quinn. This was the biggest get for the Dallas Cowboys in the offseason, more than any of our free agents, more than Fowler, more than Washington, more than Ryan freaking Nall. It was Dan Quinn. So the number one, I don't want to say number one of the biggest strengths heading into Cowboys camp is the Dallas Cowboys defensive coaches. And I think they're going to need to lean on it. We talked about this before. Going to need to lean on this defense this year. And in order to do that, I think you needed to bring back these guys, and they did it. So I'm excited for it. I think the Cowboys defense will take another step. They may take a step back in the sense of some stats, but I think this defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the league, barring injury. My chat kind of messed up over here. Pop out on YouTube, so I got to do it this way. I got y'all though. Scott I can't even pronounce that. McSorley. No, is it Scott McSorley? Thank you. So, no disrespect, Scott McSorley. You ain't George Edwards. All right, he's not George Edwards. All right, we got a couple callers on the line, 2 premium callers too. So y'all stay tight real quick. Let me tell y'all about the ride of the week so we can get that out the way and go ahead and push through this show. This week's ride of the week is the 2022 Hyundai Kona. It competes with other ultra compact SUVs and crossovers with a base price comfortably in the 21 to 29K range. The Kona offers far more style than is normally offered in class, while also leading the way in technology with tons of safety and convenience options to offer. If you want to know more about the 2022 Hyundai Kona, visit freemanhyundai.com or hit up Freeman Hyundai in Irving, Texas.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and
reach for the sky.
Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Oscar said these defensive coaches look intimidating to Kellen Moore. Y'all roasting Kellen. Kellen's just never going to be a guy that you look for motivation, right? Like, he's just got to be the smartest guy in the room, have all the answers, and get us through it. We ain't looking to Kellen to get hype or to get motivated or nothing like that. I'd imagine the players ain't either, but Yo, wow. I didn't even bring him up today. Yesterday we got on him. Today I was going to give him a pass. You know, camp is starting today. Maybe we'll see some different things. We can get some positive momentum, but it's going to be a steady ride for me with Kellen this year. I'm not going to get too high early on. I can't get low. I think early on he's going to be Kellen. Like, he's going to do his thing, but I'm going to try not to get too low when we hit those low moments. I'm going to just wait until we get to the pressure scenarios later in the season, potentially the playoffs, and let's see if he can deliver, right? Same thing with our Q. All right, let's hit the phone lines. Got D Schiff, and then we'll get to B Bird on deck. What's good, D Schiff?
Hey, what's good, Scott?
What's good with you, man?
Not much, man. Just listening to this whole show and just kind of everything kind of tying in this point I'm about to try to make. You were talking about Kyler Murray earlier with the contract stipulation of studying more, and it reminded me of the Pivot podcast with Jamarcus Russell was featured on it, and he was ultimately talking about just kind of responding to the just all the bus talk throughout the years, right? And then he referenced a point in time where they sent him a blank videotape, I think.
Oh,
and they asked him about how the footage and all that.
There's some money in
and
it.
He's like, it was all right. And, his response to it basically was, why would y'all even set me up like that, Like, why wouldn't y'all just try to coach me, still a young guy. So saying all that to say, Mike McCarthy had his interview, and I think this recent interview, he was basically like clapping back, right, at the media.
Say that last part.
You know what I'm talking about? He was clapping back at the media.
Mike, yeah, in the most in the most like humble way.
I mean, but that's kind of the way he can do it, right? I mean, he has kind of like that sarcastic kind of personality to him, and I think it's easy for him to be tempered, but it just kind of just your response to basically the criticism, like, you seen like Zach Martin take accountability. He's a great player, and that's what greats do. They look into the accountability of what's being put. Zach Martin didn't run from it. He was like, we need to be more what? Discipline. More physical and more disciplined. He could have came out and said, clap back and y'all been hearing the chatter, but this, that, and another. But he was like, no, we need to be more physical and more disciplined, because he's a leader and he's a great player, Danny. But nah, man, it's just kind of put me on edge with Mike McCarthy, just because, I mean, you get that from players a lot, right? The LVEs of the world who, they're going to clap back when they hear the chatter versus Sean Lee and be like, I'll take less on a contract because I haven't played up to expectations.
Right.
And to each his own, but it kind of worries you a little bit more in your coach. Players that they have a short span, they have to make their money, or they have to produce what time they have. Coaches have all these backup options, and so with Mike McCarthy, that interview kind of just ran me a little the wrong way,
You talking about the one where he was on? Was it Rich Eisen?
Well, I think there was like a previous interview with all the training camp interviews going down right now, and he, basically saying like the hot seat is more of a media-driven narrative. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's something that's outside of my realm, but I don't know, man. But that's all I have, Scott. I'll sit back and listen, bro. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you calling in as always, D-Ship. I mean, in a way, he ain't lying. To a point, we definitely, and I hate to say we, like I'm the media, but outside noise does drive the hot seat. But, I mean, we wouldn't be talking hot seat if the Cowboys didn't play the way they played, though, Mike. We wouldn't be talking the hot seat in the playoffs if Jerry Jones didn't come out pissed off and saying some of the things he said. So that ain't our fault. Ain't our fault. All right, another OG in the building, the original. What's good, B Bird?
Hey, what's up, Scott? First thing, man, that Hyundai Kona, I actually was gonna buy that for my daughter. I actually bought her a
Hyundai Tucson last year. And Hyundai, it has the best warranty in the business, man. So that was one of the things that I was looking at to, make sure that, everything's taken care of as far as that's concerned. So,
well,
but that Kona's a nice car. I just got the Tucson because it's a little bit bigger.
Look at that. Hyundai getting free pub from our fans. That's just fantastic.
Yeah. So I did a lot of research on them too, man. Just different cars and the warranties and just the safety aspects of it. And the Hyundai really graded out a lot higher than all the other ones did. And the value of it was outstanding. So that's why we chose that one. The thing about is that coaching thing, when you went through it, it's one of those things that make you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody ever got a job, pretty much another job after they left here.
No head coach job, no.
But so nobody wanted them. But here's the deal that make you go even more. Nobody wanted them before we hired them. Think about it. Nobody was chasing Chan Gailey. Nobody was chasing Dave Campo. Nobody was chasing Barry Switzer. Nobody was chasing Mike McCarthy. Nobody. Remember, I told you a long time ago, the Cowboys want coaches that have no leverage, so they can come in here and do and cut their what's off, and then now they're just figureheads. Mike McCarthy did it already when he allowed Kellen to come in here. He should have said, "Hey, no, I'm not going to do this at all." But none of those coaches that we named had. Nobody wanted those guys before they got here either. That's the thing that makes me go more than when they left.
And that's what I thought about you. I literally thought about you when Coach Marr brought that up, because I was like, well, yeah, they didn't want him before, but I was trying to think on the spot, and that's why I said I'm going to have to think afterwards. Did anybody want half of these dudes prior? The only one I could think of is Jason, because they had to say, hey, we'll pay you like a head coach to stay. Don't go to Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore that was trying to go after him. But that's because he was the young hotshot coordinator, right? But these other guys, nobody was coming after Dave Campo, man. Nobody wanted Chan. Nobody was really. McCarthy probably wasn't going to get hired by anybody aside from the Cowboys.
No, he wasn't. And that's why he had to take whatever was offered. One thing too, D-Shift talked about this, man. This is non-Cowboy news, but that Pivot podcast with Jamarcus Russell is an outstanding podcast. You got to hear it. To me, he just made a whole bunch of excuses on why he failed. Raiders wasn't a good organization. I know we're Cowboy-centric here, but that was outstanding, man. I listened to it on the way to Austin. Me and my son rode up there. And it was just outstanding. So, man, you got to go see it, man. It's crazy. Kyler Murray, I just want to comment on that, and then I'm going to get off, man. To me, it's criminal and that ever leaked. Somebody needs to be fired immediately, and I would do a thorough investigation. You don't put you can put that in your contract, but you cannot throw your quarterback under the bus like that. That's just, you can't do that. You just gave him this huge contract, and you're basically telling the world he's not putting in the work. It just, to me, like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, how did that ever leak out? It's the craziest thing to me. And if I was Arizona to set the standard on that, I go find out who that is, and if I had to put millions of dollars to go and research and find out who that is, I would do that, and they would be gone immediately. Again, to put that in the contract is one thing, but to leak that to the media is another thing. And I'm gonna let you go, bro. That's all I wanted to say, man.
Appreciate you. And I think I said that on Twitter under, was it Jeff Kavanaugh's tweet? I said, how did his people let this get out? And was this the team? And why would the team do that? This leak, this clearly was a leak. This wasn't hey, this is public knowledge. These contracts aren't public knowledge. These contracts go to somebody, and then they leak the information for a story or what have you. So maybe Kyler needs to tighten up his circle, or maybe Arizona wanted to show people, hey, y'all want to know why we were not so fast on getting him done? Y'all want to know why he had to delete his his Cardinals pictures on Instagram? Well, it's because we were playing hardball, because we didn't like the fact that he wouldn't do this or do that. So either way, it's messy, it's ugly. You don't want that out there in the public, and it does make both parties look goofy to me. Makes them look goofy. All right, so I think we're getting back to chat on this side. We got a bot that came to it. One of the bots must have went ahead and subscribed and came on in here. All right. But y'all took care of it. Appreciate your Bob Squad.
Bomb Squad!
D-Shift, what is wrong with you, dog? Peasy said, was McCarthy lying about spending a year studying analytics? How can I say he wasn't? If I'm not mistaken. No, I'm definitely not mistaken. He came out and basically said, oh, hey, I didn't watch everybody. Like I said, I wanted the job, though. So that dude wasn't in that barn all year. He might have understood our analytics. I got to come more towards this. This is the day and age. And he, to his credit, he talks about all the new technologies and he constantly brings up these analytics and things like that. But can you blame fans or the Cowboys front office for thinking that he might have been lying about that too? No. Not when he came out and said I'm lying. Not at all. All right, let me get to my second. I might even include a third. We got another 920s on the horn. Stay put. I'm going to just get to my second one real quick. Strength as the Cowboys get ready to begin camp here in a number of hours. And it's the pass rush. Some people might say, whoa, wait a minute. You lost Randy Gregory. How do you view this as a strength for the Cowboys and heading into the season? And I know this sounds very defensive oriented right now, but don't worry. The last one is the obvious one. But I do view this as a strength still. I believe this defense, there's technically two parts to this, but this defense will go as the pass rush goes. Now, I'll put a caveat. The run defense will help it take it to another level. But if you guys remember, I said if this defense wants to maintain its success from last year, they cannot see the pass rush dip. They can't see that dip. They need to see it improve a bit here. And last year, I personally think the numbers might not say this was one of the best pass rushing teams. They were a top half of the league pass rushing team. They had 41 sacks, ranked, I think, 8th, so tied for 8th. If you do all the non-ties, they were like 12th, but a couple other teams had tie percentage. So that's good, right? I'm sorry, tied for 10th. They were tied for 10th. The pass rush win rate, they were tied for 8th. But the number that I liked is that when they only sent 4, they were one of the best teams at getting pressure on the quarterback. And I think a lot of that had to do with Micah Parsons. I think a lot of that had to do with Randy Gregory, who's not here. But number 90 is, right? So think about this. They were one of the better pass rushing teams last year with a rookie linebacker having to play a lot of defense end snaps and pass rush snaps. DeMarcus Lawrence out. Randy Gregory in and out. And Neville Gallimore in and out. Mostly out. Injuries are the most important factor in this situation, but barring injury, you get Neville, you get Neville, you get DeMarcus Lawrence all year. Micah Parsons year 2. Not only just year 2 for himself, year 2 for Dan Quinn. Like, Dan Quinn doesn't have to think on the fly of how to get this man involved and take advantage of mismatches. He knows. He's got an entire offseason and a catalog of film to say this is what he does, this is what he needs to work on, put him in the best position. So, I'm also thinking on the fly here. I think the pass rush, I might have the most confidence in regards to a grouping. Maybe running back barring injury right there with it. But I feel extremely confident in the pass rush, mainly because of these two, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. Haven't even begun to talk about Dante Fowler being a reserve type of guy getting after the quarterback. Sam Williams being a reserve athletic pass rusher. Dorrance, I still think Dorrance is what he is, a reserved role player, but he's still getting better in that role, right? Going into year 5 now, year 2 under Dan Quinn. Chauncey Golston, inside, outside. I just really do believe that the pass rush is going to, at the very least, maintain itself, but I think it's going to be better this year. So that's the second strength I wanted to talk about today was the Cowboys pass rush. I know Andrew, that's why I hesitated. Andrew said not secondary, not the top. It's close. I think I brought it up before. As a whole, Hooker and not Casey Hooker and Curse, Diggs, ABJ Lou, if Kelvin doesn't get suspended. I don't feel bad about that position. Don't get it twisted. I just feel better about Micah, D-Law. You know what I'm saying? As my two guys anchoring that pass rush. And then Osa got to be part of the pass rush, right? You know what I'm saying? Sam Williams as a reserve. I think Fowler is going to have a really good year as a reserve as well. Just something about this pass rush that I think is going to pop and is going to be needed to help out the secondary. I'm not saying the secondary is weak. It's just that the chicken or egg conversation, right? We did have a good coverage unit last year. I don't know that we have such a lockdown coverage unit that you can say, just run out a bunch of Jags and orphans as pass rushers. We've seen in years past in Dallas where we've had, in my opinion, solid corners and DB solid, not great, but the pass rush just never was all that. I think you got a really damn good pass rush now, a really solid secondary, and it's going to make things difficult on the team. What's going on defense, on offenses? What's going on with the chat today, Toxic? We good? We good? I don't got to do nothing crazy in here, do we? Ain't got another window or whatever the dude's name in here. But hey, I don't know why I'm tripping. That's why y'all got the wrenches. Y'all, if anything happened, y'all got it, man. Y'all got it. All right, let's hit the phone lines, and we'll get to the last part later. We got 920 on the horn. What's goody?
What's good?
What's good?
This is Carl from Wisconsin.
What's up, Carl? What's going on, Carl?
Yeah, what's going on? Hey, I saw y'all the other night, man.
Fun show, man.
Put all y'all together. Put all y'all together, man. It was awesome, man. Talking about our boys. I'm calling. I'm on my way up there next Wednesday.
Up to Dallas, or you going to camp?
Going to camp. Me and my son. We going.
Oh man, that's
before you head back to school. We gonna stay 4 days there. We gonna do it up. I have a question.
Yeah.
You was talking about your defense. Talking about the defense. I believe in the second year with Dan Quinn, man, I think the Cowboys defense is going to go. They going to be reckoned with. I believe so. I know Randy's gone, but I believe I got it. I mean, I feel it, that the Cowboys defense is going to be a lot better than they were last year. That's a guarantee.
I'm with you. I think this defense is going to be better. I truly do.
Healthy? Man, if we can keep Tank on the field, if we keep our boys healthy, and what's the guy that's coming back from that ACL?
Jabril Cox.
If you can get him out, oh, man, if you can get this guy, watch him at LSU, man. This guy is going to be that secret weapon. You watch what I say. Like you heard it from me.
Hey,
that guy's going to be the secret weapon for
Carl,
the Cowboys.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to even sit here and disagree with you on Jabril Cox, man. I think Jabril Cox he's not right there with me with Osa, where I'm kind of like 10 toes down. If I'm wrong, I'll come back and like whatever. But Jabril Cox, I have the utmost confidence in, if he remains healthy, that he can be a weapon for this Cowboys defense.
Oh yeah, just being healthy. All those guys being healthy. And my last, before I get off, what do you think about what's Boss Man? What do you think about him? You think he's gonna get that starting position, or what are you thinking?
It's we talked about him yesterday in the good news, but it's so, his situation is so strange because I don't know what the league is going to do. So I have to always preface it with, okay, let's pretend the league is not going to suspend him. He doesn't have the investigation hanging over his head anymore. He has the talent to easily be your cornerback too. From a talent standpoint, I think he is. But it's going to be up to him showing that he wants that position and going out there and earning it and not being given to him. So, if all things are equal, not getting suspended, he's focused out there and he's healthy, I definitely think he can get the cornerback 2 spot. But I don't think AB is going to lay down. And I think, here's another thing. No. I think we all should want him, or Nation for that matter, to get the cornerback 2 spot.
Yeah, it's one guy that was undrafted. I forget his name, and I saw highlights. Like, this guy's all over. I think Florida. Did he come from Florida?
Isaac Taylor Stewart.
I think that's him.
He came from
man.
USC though, but.
Oh, okay. Man, I like him. I like him, and I believe it's going to be one out of that undrafted that's going to make this thing.
Woo. You got undrafted making it. That's an uphill battle, man. That cornerback room it's a lot of bodies in that room right now.
Yeah. All I care about is them. I get up there and be chatting, and me and my son.
Oh, you know what? You might be thinking of the safety. Somebody said Bell from Florida A&M. You talking about the safety?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay,
that's
Marquise
him,
Bell.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
This dude is, I mean, he but we got a lot of nice safeties too, so that's what's going to make it hard.
But there's a spot up for grabs. That 4th safety spot is up for grabs, and I talk about this when we did the safety position. That is one of the positions I can't wait to hear. I don't even got to see it. I can't wait to hear it because I know there's going to be a lot of big hits going down between Coyle, Taylor Stewart, Wanye Thomas, and not saying that who am I missing? The draft pick from South Carolina, Izzy Mukwamu. He's not a hitter, but the competition for that 4th spot is going to be fierce.
Yeah, my God, and what I was talking about, they better recognize, man. They better recognize that brother because that brother coming.
Yeah.
And if you don't make it, hopefully we can, he can come to the practice squad and
I think he's my early favorite of undrafted free agents to make the roster. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of them. I got maybe 2, one from a linebacker position, one from the safety position. Now that could change, but. Right now, before practice is starting, before camp is starting, I got Bell and I got one of those linebackers, maybe Story.
So you guys was talking about the other night. I was wondering, are you concerned about the linebackers? We short on linebacking. What do you think about that? You think we need to?
I do
get some depth there.
I do, Carl. And they know that too. That's why they signed Malik Jefferson. That's why they signed the USFL kid Christian Sam. That's why they have interest in Anthony Barr. So yeah, I mean the depth concerns are real. But I think what they're going to do here is get to camp, get about a couple weeks in, see what it looks like, and if they don't like it, then they'll pick up that phone. They'll bring in a veteran.
Yeah, I was thinking because. Somebody was
I didn't even think about Garrett Bay.
Barr knee, he has some knee problems. Because I don't understand why he's not signed yet. So that kind of question, because he should be signed. Somebody said something about his knee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about his knee per se. I can maybe reach out to somebody that I know. Get some information on that, but
I mean, that's just something that I've heard. It might not be true, but like I say, he should be signed already.
Maybe from what I heard, the asking price is high.
Yeah. So what is you thinking? What is he? I mean, I wouldn't.
I'm not paying.
You think 5 is too high?
Oh no, I don't think 5 is too high.
Okay.
They paid Keanu Neal and converted him to linebacker.
Yeah.
They paid him that $5 million. So I mean, no, I don't think $5 million is enough for him at this moment. I don't think he wants that right now. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's some more out there. That's.
Hey, when you gonna be out there, Carl?
I'm a Wednesday.
A Wednesday to what, like Sunday?
Not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be out there the same time, man. So if you see me and Vox, yes, sir. If you see us, man, come through.
I sure will. I'll be looking for Mark. I think Mark Holmes will be out there.
Law will be out there. A lot of creators will be out there, yeah.
Yeah, West Coast. Yeah.
They definitely going to be
all
out
right,
there.
I'll see you guys out there. Trust me, I'll look y'all up.
All right, Carl. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
You too, man. Yeah, I totally dismissed Jonathan Garrett. That's my bad. Special teams matters. I think Garabay's a lock unless he messes up. But I was more so speaking on the Jonathan, if you're listening, but the actual football positions. And that's what made me think of Marquise Bell and Story Jackson. And no disrespect to you, Jonathan Garabay. Yeah. Gonna need you, man. Y'all matter. Y'all are people. Y'all are. Let's get to 865 before we wrap up this show here. What's up, 865?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you? You sound like you in a good mood.
Hey, man. Any day is a good day to be a Dallas Cowboys fan.
I can dig it.
I watch your all show. Will Steele. I love him, man. I love him. Young, energetic, very knowledgeable. The content, you guys are going in the right direction.
Thank you, sir. We all agree. We think we're this is the wave of the information nowadays.
Oh man, shoot, I don't even mess with ESPN or any of those other shows. I hate to say that, but I like to listen to you guys because y'all are true Dallas Cowboys supporters. And my question or comment is, as a Dallas Cowboys fan for the last 40 plus years, this is the first time in probably 15, since the Super Bowl days, that I feel like the defense can carry the team if it had to.
Hey, I might be there with you. I mean, I think the defense is going to have to now. To carry it to the Super Bowl is going to have to be an all-time type of defense, I think. But I think this defense is going to be the strength of this team, at least early on.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
It takes the offense a while to get moving. But with Dan Quinn leading the helm and his ability to motivate players and elevate their game, he's got a queen. He's got a queen on defense, unlike any other player in the NFL. And that's Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
You allow him to do his thing, and you get those guys up front, D-Long, the guy from Ole Miss, and OC. Get those guys on the same page, and J-Ron Curse, hey, that guy's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. Your team at each level on defense line, middle line, the linebacker core, and the secondary, you got impact players. And they want to make plays this year. They want to make plays because they know they can make plays.
Yeah, it's a different confidence with this defense this year in year two, man, that we keep hearing and reporters keep talking about. I just really, really like this defense. Mainly, honestly, because Dan Quinn is sticking around. Not saying these players aren't good, but keeping that continuity in year two with these talented players are going to be. It was extremely important to do.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, they know he's coming back and he's going to bring that energy, and he got those expectations, and he has the resume. He has the resume to say, look, guys, I'm close to best. I've been to the big game. You all have those same keys and qualities to get it done. And when you look at those Seahawks teams, their offense was middle of the road? Wasn't anything special about those Seahawks offenses?
I mean, I don't want to dismiss the running game that they had, dismiss the role that Russell Wilson played, but obviously the defense did the heavy lifting there. While the defense did the heavy lifting, they at the same token, they wouldn't have won or been in the Super Bowl if they had a worse quarterback either.
No. I'm not saying that they had that quarterback play.
No. Right.
When you consider when you consider the Russell Wilson was in year 2, he went to the Super Bowl year 2, year 3 of his career.
Second year, and I think I think it was the second year they won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I mean, he got it done, but the defense, that when those defenses, when you have a defense that can get you spread out, and you got an offense that can go out there and get you 21 to 24 points a game, you got a chance to win in the NFL. A lot of games. A lot of games. And with this offense, you know, people can say what they want about Dak, but Dak is a great quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
And Dak, you can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. Again, and I'm about to get to it right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and transition into my last strength, brother. Appreciate the call in, man.
Hey, I'll call again.
Please do.
Let me comment, and y'all take care.
You too, man. This is a great segue. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. My final strength heading into training camp of today. Let me go ahead and mute both of y'all. There we go. It's a quarterback position. It's Dak Prescott. Now, this could be arguably number one. I mean, if you want to talk about ranking these things, I'm not really trying to rank them. They're just whatever, 3 strengths heading into camp today. And it's Dak. I think when you have at the very least, because people want to, is he 5? Is he 3? I don't give a damn where you want to put him in your top 10. He's a top 10 quarterback. And if you got a top 10 quarterback on your team, more often than not, you have an advantage on game day. More often than not, you have a shot. And when he plays, whether he's upright or not, whether he's hurting or not, you always have a shot with him at quarterback. So without a shadow of a doubt, he is a strength of your team. And while I talked about on the show, the super mega show, what I want to see him improve on, it was because I could sit here and talk about all the things that I think he's really good at. There's a long list of that, but there's not a long list of things I think he's bad at. In fact, one of the executives said Dak Prescott doesn't have a hole in his game. That's not the case. So for me, it's about necessarily just finishing at the end of the seasons. And I want to see him peak. And this sounds crazy because we're going to need the best Dak Prescott early on. But I want to see him peak towards the end as opposed to peaking towards the beginning. Because if we can get him peaking towards the end, you got the defense peaking towards the end as well. Now we get into the playoffs. I think with more momentum, maybe than we've had, since the 13-3 year, since 2016. 18, the momentum was, they got whooped on against the Indianapolis Colts. They got skunked 27-0 or something like that. Then last year, of course, we know what happened against Arizona, the last meaningful game. I ain't talking about fake momentum. I ain't talking about beating on the Philadelphia Eagles with their practice squad. I'm talking about real momentum heading into the postseason and then riding that wave. So, I mean, this is. I don't need to go on and on about Dak Prescott. I don't think I do. But Dak Prescott is definitely a strength of this team, whether people want to believe it or not. Let's get into the chat. Not the craziest Dak fan, says King, but you can definitely win with him. Of course you can. He's still a top 10 QB, and way worse QBs have won Super Bowls. Period. That's coming from not a Dak fan. Overall, opposite from last offseason, we were worried about the historical worst defense and thought the O was solid. Now the O worries me, and the D is solid. Yeah, I think the worries that come from the offensive side of the ball, I don't think comes from your quarterback. I saw somebody in the chat sarcastically say, well, if you think the defense you have to lean on your defense or have to carry your defense, you don't believe in Dak Prescott. That's not true at all. That's the furthest thing from the truth. This is my issue with the quarterback position. We often dismiss what's around it or the other side of the ball far too often. They don't win the Super Bowl last year, the Rams, without that defensive side. Joe Burrow doesn't get to the Super Bowl without the defensive performances in the playoffs. The Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl without the defensive performance in the Super Bowl, right? Tampa Bay, love Tom Brady. Go look how their defense played in the playoffs. So it's not that you don't believe in Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, whatever. These dudes you knew were going to come to play. Can the other side of the ball, can those around, can they level up their play as well? You can believe in your quarterback and still believe that the defense is the strength of your team definitely right now, which is why I told the caller, at the very least in the beginning of the season, you're going to need to lean on your defense because you're going to be a bit compromised from a receiver standpoint, and you got a young rookie wide receiver taking over that, a newish wide receiver in Washington. So we got to see what that looks like at this point. And how are we going to use these weapons early on? So the concern on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's warranted for some people early on. But I think what you want to see is this offense kind of gain its footing, find its ground, get some momentum, find consistency. And the number one thing for me is finish. Let's finish. 100% toxic. You need a team, but don't tell it to people who think you don't. You know, I used to go at it all the time early in his career and Tony's. Like, what do we do? Go look at these other teams that win Super Bowls. It's not just because of the Q. There's so many things that come into play with it. And as King Ellerman said, worst quarterbacks have went to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl. Yeah, Fresh King, offensive worries have nothing to do with Dak. Me personally, everybody agrees with this. I agree. Let's see what you got up here. Is there somebody holding? Oh, there is. Let me lock this phone line up. I get the 214, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. What's up, 214?
What's up, brother? How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Having a good show today, and later today we'll get some real updates. Ain't going to be too much. Anything crazy, but we get some camp updates, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to hear from you guys. I just had 3 things for you.
Okay.
So, and they're short. So, tell me what you think about this Tyler Smith comparison that I think is the perfect comparison for what I think he'll be is Ron Leary from back in 2014 when Ron was the bulldozer left guard that we had. I think it's a perfect comparison for Tyler Smith. Just with more potential, too. I think Tyler Smith has a little bit more range of potential sliding out the left tackle and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the draft show, that's literally who I compared him to was Ron Leary. So spot on with that. In regards to the nastiness, the strength, kind of the rugged guard mentality. But I think his ceiling is higher than Ron Leary, and he doesn't got bad degenerative knees either.
Okay, and are they trying to slide him to left tackle, like get him work during training camp this year, or are they just sticking him at left guard and holding him there until? Well,
I think that will be answered in training camp. Now OTAs they were working him out there at left tackle. I think once you get to a certain point in training camp, you stop experimenting, and you start to kind of prep for what these guys are going to actually be. Now last year, you know, you could say, well, Sky didn't do that last year. They had Connor Williams, it seems like in the middle of training camp, say, hey, can you play center? And I think it was kind of out of an emergency. They realized, oops, we don't have an actual center that's done center things recently in college or in pros on the team. So they tried to move Connor Williams in there. I will see. That question will be answered if they're going to put Tyler Smith at tackle reps during camp. I think fairly early. I don't think it's going to take long because they know Tyron is good to miss about 3 to 5 games, so they need to figure out what they're going to do over there.
Yeah. Do you value Tyler Smith? Let's say he turns out to be this Ron Leary type of left guard, which I think has been missing from this offensive line since he left. Would you value him more there, or try to tweak it over and put him at left tackle when Tyron is gone? Or would you just draft another left tackle and leave Tyler where he's succeeding at right now?
Well, it sounds like you're speaking more so the future next year. If Tyler shows, whether it be in camp or if they decide to move Tyler Smith out the left tackle for a few games, if he shows he can handle that position, the more value is at tackle. So now the question becomes, do you move on from Tron is what I'm calling him. Do you move on from Tron and just put Tyler Smith there and draft your guard? I would do that because now I have my left tackle of the future for 4 more seasons, and it's easier for me to find a guard than it is a franchise left tackle. That may compromise your offense this year, but you'll have an answer on Tyler Smith sooner rather than later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's basically all I had. I mean, other than that, I was wondering for you, do you are there other opportunities that you're gonna maybe come across for you to get on a TV or something, kind of like Botch is working with the volume or something?
I guess I can share this now that everything is squared away here. There was a running joke that said, "Oh, Sky's going to take Dave Hellman's position." That was a possibility. So I did speak with the Cowboys, met with Derek Eagleton and Nick, great guys, great interview, great meeting. That was a possibility. Now, contractually, things didn't work out that way, but I was honored that they even would reach out to me to look at me in that way. So I definitely foresee things like that in the future. This is definitely not the last stop for me. Maybe it's with, the volume. Maybe it's with Dallas. Maybe it's with whatever. But this isn't the last stop for me. This is just a stepping stone to hopefully greater success. So yeah, I mean, I'm not honed in on one thing. I'm always, if you don't know me personally, but those who know me personally, if you look back in my life, I'm always trying to do better, whether it be me personally, physically, mentally, or from a career standpoint. So definitely more to come, man. I don't know if you'll see me on some big screen or what have you, unless you got your YouTube on the TV. But there'll definitely there'll definitely be more. You'll be seeing me more. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, man. I know you're a hungry dude. You deserve every opportunity that comes to you. You're 10 times better than the Bart Scotts of the world and all that shit, So I'm proud of you, bro, and take advantage of every opportunity that's going to come to you, man. You have a great show and a good head.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
That's all I have, brother.
Thank you. Man.
Oh, yeah. Have a good day.
Kind words, man. I appreciate that. Professor O, you've been sitting on that for a minute. I was never going to even really just bring it up. I was just going to just let that go. But crazy how the universe works, huh? He brought that up. But it was very humbling experience, heading down there to the Star and talking to these guys and kind of, I can't say a lot of things because that's just wrong, but just kind of getting the small things that happen within there from a media standpoint. And hearing the stories, and I straight up told Derek, and he kept asking me, he was like, "So you got any questions?" I'm like, "Man, I could sit here and talk to y'all forever. We going on over an hour though, but I could talk to y'all forever just listening to the stories and how you do things and getting some professional advice from Derek. Like, that is valuable information." There's this weird meme that goes around on Twitter and Facebook, $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z type thing. Whatever. I would tell you this, though. That was a valuable meeting. But if you put $500 in my hand, but that was a valuable meeting because I learned some things. Not a ton, but I did learn a few things and just from a professional standpoint. But it wasn't, we weren't able to it wasn't able to work out due to certain circumstances. But it was a win-win to me. That's how I looked at it. So I was just fortunate for that to happen. But yeah, man, boy, ain't going nowhere. You'll be seeing me more or less. Something crazy happen. You'll be seeing me more, whether it be here, whether it be later on today. 306 Voch Lombardi live. Maybe some more things will be cracking over there. Definitely more things will be popping here on A to Z Sports Dallas. That's for sure. For the foreseeable future, for the next few years. So y'all stay put, man. Y'all stay put. I'm going to continue to bring it the only way I know how, and that's real and that's raw. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to be informative and just try to be unique in how we deliver this information, man. One of the things I said when I first started doing this was, man, I want to be fun, informative, and fresh. If I can keep those 3 things, I stay true to me, and y'all get quality out of it, man. Y'all get quality out of it. Knowledge is definitely key. Definitely key, King Element. My bad for kind of going on a long little tangent there, but I like sharing some of that kind of personal information and news with y'all when I can. I couldn't at one point, but now that this whole thing is done with, I can. The position's been filled and all that good stuff. King Element, when's Mo coming back? Mo should. I mean, you know what? I don't even know, bro. I thought he was gonna be back yesterday, so we'll see. We'll see. Ah, man, Bart Scott. That y'all know me. I don't like to talk about too much nonsense like that. But what is my man talking about? Thank you, Swain. I mean, anybody. I kind of wasn't looking in the chat, but I appreciate the kind words from everybody in the chat. The Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad.
Y'all the best, man. Y'all the best. This is Barry. This is very true. This is very true. But look. We got some Cowboys camp stuff today. I'll be on Twitter all day. Make sure y'all follow me on there. I'll probably be retweeting things if there's retweet-worthy news or video footage or whatever. Trey was like, hey, man, you better get some good footage when you go down there. Somebody asked, when will I be? Next Friday. I'll be down there Friday. I don't know that I'm going to make the practice because we'll be flying in. But I'll be there from the 5th through the 10th. There will be no show Thursday or Friday as I'm flying out Thursday, making a stop, and then flying from there to Cali. So no show on Thursday, no show Friday. We'll probably have a video up for Thursday, though. We'll see what happens with Friday. And then, we'll get some good content for you guys. Get some our eyes down there, me and Vach, and we'll have a good time. At the end of the day, man, I definitely want to enjoy myself and still be able to take something away from it to bring to y'all. All right. Hey, before y'all dip though, do me a favor if you forgot. I know sometimes you just can watch and forget. Hit the like button. It's the easiest way to support. Subscribe if you haven't. Bots have been subscribing for 20 minutes and commenting. If you want to know how to, follow the bots, right? Subscribe for 20 minutes and then you can comment and share this thing. Easiest way to go about it. Easiest way to go about it, y'all. Share this thing. With that said, I'll hop into the chat real quick, see if we got any last minute things, and we're going to get up out of here. Matt, Sky, you're the reason I'm with A to Z. You vouched for me, forever grateful. It was easy to, bro. That's you. Like I told you before, man, not too many writers I see work as hard as you. My man was pumping out like 15 articles a goddamn week. So salute to you, brother. Sky, you're an HBO kind of analyst. I appreciate that. I knew I was never going to be buttoned up analyst, professional, sure, but I never was going to be a buttoned up. I hate using the term analyst, but broadcaster, whatever. I liked my personality to shine through, and that's what makes this platform great for all of us content creators. We can allow our personalities to kind of shine through there. Follow the bot, says Professor O. Make sure you follow Professor O on Twitter as well, man. He's going to drop all the stats that you need, and hit up A to Z Sports Dallas for all of our articles from a guy like Matthew Lennox and Mauricio Rodriguez as well. So stay tuned later. If Mo is not on, there will be a video that will be dropping. All right, we're going to get out of here and press this button. Indeed, Professor O, again, not too much vouching I had to do. When you're as good as you guys are, y'all hey, y'all, you see him? You should probably hire him. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, Lemitra. I am. I'll see y'all tomorrow. More Cowboys news, more Cowboys camp. I love it. Love y'all. We out here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!